Hi everybody, and here's my Module 10 presentation. So as educators, it's our responsibility to help students reach their full potential by allowing students to know how far they can grow while they're in your class and why we give them the tools to continue to grow in their educational careers. Everybody that is involved in the educational system needs to be able to support students along their educational journey and provide guidance in the right direction for their students. According to Leaving to Learn, there are 10 expectations for students that are their learning norms. One is relationship, relevance, time, timing, play, practice, choice, authenticity, challenge, and application. When looking at relationships, it's important that we try to build a personal relationship with each one of our students, as this will allow them to be more engaged in their education while they're in your class. Students need to be able to feel as though they're not just another face in the crowd while they're in your class, but rather they are an integral part of the class. Learning about the personal interest of students is a great way to achieve this and start creating those positive relationships between you and the students. Making the curriculum and information that the students are learning relevant is very important. Students are able to take in more information when they're understand the relevancy of the information. Once you as the educator has built a relationship with the students, you're able to understand their interests, and then you have the ability to relate that information that you're teaching to the student's interest. This helps with the retention rate of the information, as well as the interest that the student has in the information. I like to try and personalize information towards each student when I'm working with them one-on-one, as a way to help them try to understand the information, and it also has the ability to kind of allow them to dig deeper into that information and start to learn more about it. The time that we use to develop the education and the way that we allow them to understand the education is very important. Okay, to help students develop their learning norms, we must allow them time to fully understand the information. Not every subject that is taught to students can be delivered at the same pace. Some subjects obviously are going to require more time. So we have to be able to understand that and know that each student learns at a different pace, and we have to be able to support them. We have to think about if we're allowing the students enough time to deeply understand all of the information. We need to be able to support the students to learn at their own pace while supporting them along to keep them moving in the right direction. Checks for understanding are good for this. Some different like exit tickets or first 5-minute activities, just to check to see if they are retaining the information, or if we need to spend a little bit more time on that information for the student to be successful. The timing is also very important because each student can comprehend information in different ways, and so the way we teach it may be step 1, step 2, step 3, but the student may understand it better in a different way. Okay, not all students learn the same way. We need to be able to support students to learn in the order that fits the learning style of the students best. I believe that we need to encourage students to find the best way to learn for them, and this means that the order that we teach it isn't always best, and they need to be able to find their own way. This also encourages them to find different ways that help them with all types of information, as well as the attempt of us trying to encourage them to be lifelong learners, to where they continue to solve these problems and learn how it is that they learn best. Play in education is way underrated, I think. We get focused on results and we want immediate results from students. Students have the ability to, they need to have the ability to explore the information, make mistakes with the information as they learn, and they're able to learn from themselves what's right and what's wrong with that information. As students have time to play with the information, they're able to learn how they learn personally and how they're able to manipulate the new information that they're learning to help them understand it better. To accomplish this, I try to allow students the opportunity to play with the information by having them come up with questions that they want answered about the new information. And then they discuss it with the rest of the class. So it's not always learning from me, but they learn from themselves about digging deeper into the information, and they learn from their classmates as well. Practice. Practice makes perfect is the saying that's always going around. It is an important to allow the students to have the time to practice and interact with the information in a variety of ways. As students interact with and practice the new information, they're able to find ways to master the new skill prior to moving on to the next step. If students try to move on too quickly, there's often a step that's missing, and there's a gap in the learning that happens, and we need to really make sure that we're taking the time to allow the students to master each of these skills. Reteaching activities help a lot with these for students. Again, just kind of going back and touching on it. You may have taught it a few days ago, but let's go back, let's touch on it again and make sure that we are still in understanding of what we need to be doing with the new information that we're working on. Choice is very important, and as the students get older, choice needs to become more and more part of their education. They need to feel as though they have a say in the information that they're learning. As students move on, they should be able to choose their classes based on what their interests are. Students should be looking at their classes in high school and learning how it is that they can relate that information that they're going to learn to a future career, and gaining knowledge about these different types of job opportunities that could be up, career opportunities, different learning that they can accomplish in order to know what it is that they want to do in the future. And that all comes down to choosing what they feel is best for themselves. Authenticity, we need to be able to allow students to understand that the information they're learning will serve them in the future, and it is authentic information that will be needed. As we move students through their educational careers, students need to see the new information they're learning and how it is related to the real world, how it's going to serve them in the real world, and how it is that they're going to use this information later in life. And they need to see that it's authentic and be able to engage in the material and learn more about that information and know that it is real things. And so what I like to do is I like to try and relate as much information as I can, and it's a little bit easier for me right now being a history teacher in that I can relate things that happen in history to things that are happening today and things that could happen again, and so it works out a little bit easier to make it real world. The challenges that we need to have in education are very important. In life, when things become too easy, we often lose interest in things and we begin to disengage. Students need to be able to feel a challenge to learn new information rather than just completing assignments to get a grade at the end of the class. Every day, we need to make sure that we challenge not only ourselves but our students to learn something new and challenge them to be better every day. I challenge students to think about how it is that they've grown their knowledge throughout the class and throughout the short period of time, and what it is that they want to learn based on what they've done that day. What is it that you want to do tomorrow? How do you want to improve yourself? How do you want to improve your education? Really thinking about how it is that we need to challenge ourselves and challenge others to make each other better. And the last is the application. The last of the learning norms is application, and learning are allowing students the opportunity to apply their skills to the real world situations here. How is it they're going to take the stuff that they learned in our class and they're going to move it outside of the classroom? And so what I try to do is I try to connect things with current events and how it is that we're going to do that things. And it's also how is it that we can help improve our community during those times. And so at our school, we try to set up some different community service opportunities to where we can take some of the information that we're talking about in classes and take that into the community. By empowering students while they're inside and outside of the classroom, we will help students develop their learning norms. All 10 of these learning expectations will help develop students to be lifelong learners In the classroom, we must be able to build a relationship, provide relevant information in a way that allows students the time to understand and explore and practice with that information. We as educators must allow the students to have a voice and a choice in their education and their learning as we provide authentic information for challenges that challenges the students to take the information out of the classroom and into real-world situations. All the students have the opportunity to become lifelong learners, and it is our job to be able to show students how they're able to maximize their educational potential and take these great things that they're learning inside the school outside. Here's my correlation to the standard. The relevancy towards the standard, and my reflection on the assignment. Here's the reference for the 10 expectations for learning norms. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time.